Hey Ben,
Yeah. Hello, hello. How you doing, Andre?
sorry, I think I got some weird setup. Just a second.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
So yeah, well, Happy New Year, I guess.
Yeah, Happy New Year, man.
But at the end of January, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I, I hope you had a good break.
Yeah, I was really busy actually. My mom had surgery, so I ended up taking care of her for like 2 months because it was like a pretty invasive surgery. So
Oh
balancing
gosh.
that with the puppy, like it was just like a lot. But like I said, I did get some vacation, but yeah, it was definitely not as relaxing as it could have been. What about you?
Yeah, can imagine. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, it was fine for me. I mean, we spent Christmas at home and then traveled to family for the New Year. But it was nice. It was relaxing.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you want to
So
share your screen and
yes.
okay, cool, cool, cool.
Okay. All right. So today is January 27th. And yeah, don't really have an agenda yet, but we can basically take notes as we go, I think. I don't know. I guess it would make sense for today. We can review the roadmap or that we have if you want. Um, Look, any outstanding PRs. I think those are good items to discuss, unless there is anything else you wanted to get started with in particular.
No, no, no. I think, being the first like real meeting back, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, let's see if this is the right link, hopefully. Um, no, I think we had this calendar one that we wanted to look at. So we have three items there. Two are assigned to me, one is assigned to you. Um, I've not worked on any of these yet. This be on my side. But so this is the repository, including last change to build events. This is something that it's been open for some time. I guess there is maybe a more general review that we want to do of those build events. Uh, but I could still do this as an initial step towards that. Um, and the other one I had updated from filled in the service updated events. Yeah, this is also something
All right, cool. And then I
that
always
needs to be
forget
done.
about this one. Um, I think I mentioned it right before we went on break, but we have pipeline run. I know you said we discussed it before, like pipeline run versus task. Like, how task is not task run, but pipeline's the only one that has pipeline run on it. Um, where did we land on that? Do you remember? I don't remember the context. Maybe I should look back at our notes actually.
We do have task run actually.
Oh, is it the full? I thought it was just task, not task run.
No, we have pipeline run and task run.
Oh, okay, okay.
Uh, and I think for I don't remember. I think we updated tests to be run as well because
Oh, so we went the other way. Gotcha. Okay, that works perfect. As long as we're consistent. Okay, yes, task run now. All right, perfect.
yeah, task has I guess not everything as a run, so certain things were designed so that they have kind of like a template or definition. and then there
Mhm.
is the run counterpart.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's opinable. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like you could have it with or without the run.
Yeah, no, I think it was just
Um,
more of a consistency issue that was for me. I think, yeah, I think test, I remember task. I thought task didn't have, but I guess it always did. I don't remember. But yeah, as
yeah,
long as we're
task.
consistent, yeah, then I think we're good. That was just my only qualm with it. Is just that some of it didn't have it and others did.
So the only thing that
A build run.
is
Yeah.
always is build.
Yeah.
Um, but that's yeah, it doesn't have run. Because I guess it's not considered as it's not part of the core or orchestration kind of areas where you have like something that you orchestrate and you execute it.
But
So
I
we
think we
don't
should
have
still
like
be consistent though. And what I mean by that is because if we go with like build, right? Just build, that is actually an entity, right? Pipeline run is not really an entity. The pipeline is the entity, but the run aspect it makes it more of an action, right? Um, so we have to decide whether or not we want to go with the action-based subjects or do we want to go with entity-based subjects. And I think that's really important for consistency, because even though I know it's a part of orchestration, I don't think that's enough of a distinction, for all the other ones really, because like test is the same thing, right? Like test is actually not part of orchestration, but we
hmm
added it to test run. So I think we just need to be consistent and find what that consistency, you know, decision is, and then put that in, like our docs, just to say this is, if you're introducing a new subject, it needs to either be action based where and has run at the end of it, or it needs to be entity based where it excludes any sort of action that's tied to the subject.
hmm
So yeah, whatever we decide, either one, I think for me, like I said, it's just more
But
of a consistency issue.
mm,
So whatever we choose, I'm okay with either. It's just, I just want to make sure that we're very consistent.
mm. But I guess there are different type of subjects. But yeah, I see what you mean. But I mean, we wouldn't have like an artifact run.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. And that's more of like an entity based one, right? And that's why I think it's a little bit confusing, is because like the pipeline is a little bit different than everything. Well, the pipeline run task run is a little bit different than everything else because it's like not an entity, it's like action based. Well, 90, I think like, a good portion of our subjects are more entity focused. So that's why I'm like, okay,
well,
we just need to figure out how we just need to A, make it consistent, and then B, document um the the reasoning behind it. I think is important. That way we could kind of avoid, like things like build getting introduced without, the lacking of run or removal of run, whatever we decide, right?
yeah, I guess for certain, it's not black or white whether it's an entity or. I mean, yeah, but I see your point. I mean, it's not easy to always like you could argue either way, I think, in
Both.
some
Yeah,
cases.
exactly. I think
Um,
that's why I'm okay with either one. I think we just need to choose one and be clear in the documentation. So if anyone's interested in adding new subjects, it's very clear on the naming schema, basically. So and what
mhm.
I can do is I can create a GitHub issue, just where we talk about it and decide, you know, what we want to go with. Because like I said, I'm for either one. I really don't care. I just want things to be documented and consistent.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. And just sorry, just thinking.
Yeah, yeah, no
I
worries, no
guess
worries.
one something that I attempted to do to start it some time ago. Maybe there is still an issue for that. It was kind to have like identify type subjects and have like uh, because like the where we have like the queue started and finished predicates is basically where we have this run
Run.
in most
Yeah.
cases. Um, and so certain subjects kind of have a lifespan that is identified for these kind of predicates. Other subjects, they do have a lifespan, but their events are not necessarily. Um,
But can't the predicates
I
imply run in itself?
it depends again if it's
Okay,
just
yeah, yeah. I think this, yeah, like I
it's
said,
not
yeah,
it's not black or white. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah. It's
if
definitely
you want
semantics
to,
here.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, the execution of the pipeline has certain predicates, which is starting, finishing, failing, whatever it is, and so it goes for the execution. So if you want to do a predicate uh, for a pipeline, they could. I mean, we could have like a pipeline subject where the predicates are like created, defined, or deleted, or modified, or
Mhm.
updated, or things like that. And that would be the definition of the pipeline. But we don't have that subject because we don't care
Yeah,
the
yeah,
scope
yeah.
about those kind of events. And that's why, but that's why I guess the run thing was introduced just to make sure that we were not talking about the definition, but more about the execution of it.
Mhm.
But you could argue the same about the build, although I guess the definition of what happens in a build is also we could consider having like a build definition with
Mhm.
some config file or something, um,
Right, right.
declarative file, and then the run of the build.
Mhm.
So let me see if I can find a issue I created a long time ago, but yeah, I think it's this one. Um, yeah, the spec now distinguishes subjects as long running, which stays in a running state until they purposely stop or encounter a failure condition that prevents them from running. For example, a service, an environment, an artifact, or a source change, and run to completion, which independently stop after they accomplished or failed to a specific task or encounter a failure or condition that prevents them from continuing. For example, a task run, a build, or a test.
Mhm.
So this was, I guess, the model I was trying to shoot for a couple of years ago. But
Okay.
then, yeah, we didn't consider it, I guess, to be um, important enough at the time to really follow up on this. But it's still open, and I think if we applied this kind of model,
Mhm.
we could then say, well, we have a naming convention for like things that run to completion. They need to have like the run in the name,
Run.
and all of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
they should be named like that. As such, the build should be a build run.
Right,
Um,
right. But the issue with run to completion is that it's so wide in scope. Like you could argue that like artifact, like published, for example, is a run to completion, right? Like it completes to publish, right? So like I it's like semantics is hard. So yeah, I think
I think
okay.
that that would be a stretch. I mean,
Well, that's
unless
well,
I mean,
that's what I mean though, is like, like with semantics, like we have to be very, very clear, where because what I'm saying is when people are reading this, especially if it's not their first language, they might
mhm,
they might kind of go for that stretch because they don't they're just like, oh, maybe this is what they mean, so we just need to be very clear, especially like if this was we're already in so many countries, like if we were just in the United States, maybe it's like less of a concern, but since we're like in Europe, we're in parts of America as well, where everyone speaks a lot of different languages. I think we need to be very clear on the semantics here, because
mhm,
any room that there is for interpretation, there will be. And that's one avenue where we want to kind of like try
mhm,
to eliminate as much as possible. Because if people get that interpretation wrong, that's going to cause a huge issue like in interoperability down the
yeah,
road, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we
yeah,
should just do our best. I'm not saying we have to do it, solve it perfectly, but we just need like a best effort here. And I think, like what you have right now, run to completion, I think probably works, but we probably just need to like massage it a little bit for like the dots is what I'm getting at, to make it a little bit more specific. Um,
Sure.
if that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was just a
A quick
proposal,
issue.
something
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is the best wording. It's just, I think apart from the name, I guess the most important part was like things that independently will stop after they're accomplished. And, but yeah, I mean, it refer to the the subject, right? So if you add like a subject that is artifact publishing,
Mhm.
and so the process of publishing the artifact in itself has a start and an end and so forth, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, we don't really want to track those events. Um, so we assume that those events are kind of instantaneous from the, the perspective of the framework that
Right.
that we
Right.
define. But yeah,
So
so
cool. I
I
actually
guess
have a
if
question. I was gonna
yeah.
actually I was gonna probably add to this. Can we also link this in the notes as well, this GitHub issue? And
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And what I
Okay.
want to I want to add to this because I want to figure out where the best place we can put this in our documentation. Maybe it's like semantics or naming conventions. Yeah, naming conventions is probably better. Um and uh the first one says long running, and one thing that I'm a little confused about, you put source change, the change, source changes, as well as artifacts. Those aren't really long running, right? Like they're long running in what's using them, but them themselves are not long running, right? So what do you mean by that? Or do you mean long running is the source code change is like the PR can be open for a very, very long time? Like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, like it's not something that you say, well, start a PR and the PR will do, and then without any further intervention will finish. So you create it, and unless you do something else on the PR, it stays there forever, basically. That's what I mean.
R- Okay,
So
okay.
so the distinction here that I try to use is something that it requires further intervention to get to different state, like a
Okay.
PR or an artifact or an environment or something that is basically normally autonomously going through. It started and it only run as long as it's doing something, and then once it's finished doing it, what it needs to do, it finishes naturally
Hmm.
or autonomously. Again, it's not a perfect distinction. It's not black and white. You could have a pipeline where you have like an approval step, and
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
would need someone to make an intervention. But I guess those are more exceptions than if it makes
Yeah,
sense. It's
yeah.
just to give an idea of. I was trying to capture in some way what it is that distinguishes these two category because
Hmm.
I kind of noticed the pattern as well that we have some subjects where we have like this, queue start, stop,
Yeah, yeah.
in other cases where we have different kind of predicates. And I was hoping that by kind of capturing this distinction, it would help us kind of being more consistent in the way we set up things.
Okay, cool.
There are
So,
some other alternatives there, like
mhm.
service versus batch, permanent versus ephemeral, or yeah, there. But I don't know. Naming is hard.
Dude, yeah, semantics is very, very like I wanted to bring it up. I didn't expect us to like solve this because like, we have to kind of really think about it because it's very, very, it's very difficult. But what I will do, because I'm actually very, very passionate about semantics. It's one thing that I always try to make sure that I get right in anything that I'm a part of. So I can take this, I will add to that GitHub issue, and I will create maybe a naming conventions like MD, uh, and then submit a PR. sooner rather than later. So I'll put this somewhere on my plate.
So,
Well, there's already an issue, or did you want a new
oh
issue
yeah,
for this one?
no, no, actually we can use that if you
Okay,
want. You
okay.
can
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, I'll just to work on this basically.
So what we can do then, we can, no, so can assign it to you.
Yeah, you should be able to. XIBZ,
Yeah.
XI. I know it's like
Uh,
not a word, so
yeah,
yeah.
I always get wrong the order of letters there.
Yeah, yeah, no worries.
And then it is on the roadmap, so we should be here somehow, I guess. Define grips.
And I'll get this done by next week. That'll be my plan.
Okay. I guess it's not there. It's
Yeah, it's
in
not in the
the.
project, I don't think. Yeah, it's in the
Oh,
backlog.
it's not on the
No,
project. Okay, okay. So I need to add it to the projects.
it's
Is
zero
that
five. Yeah.
05? There you go. Okay, and then hopefully. Nope.
Well, not there.
All
What
right.
the hell? Let's see if I can find it. Maybe GitHub's just being slow. It's also a
I think
possibility.
it maybe needs to have some kind of. What is status to do? I think it's only showing things that are in to do.
Oh, is
Okay.
it? Okay, okay.
Uh, but there is no to do. It's just, I know that's the wrong. Oh,
No, no, I
yes,
see
there
one in
is.
backlog. Let me see. Add item from repository. Define.
Just,
What's that issue called?
okay, there it is. And here I can make it as to do, and I think we can set a target date here.
Yeah, this next week, like Monday should be good.
And then here, and then if we switch back to the calendar, there you go. Yay, we
Awesome.
master GitHub.
Victory.
Okay. Um, cool. Um, yeah, I think that's about it then for in terms of roadmap.
Okay,
Um,
cool. And then I'll add to the issue expanding on the alternatives that you listed as
mhm.
well. And then we could just talk about it some before I start writing the naming conventions document. just so we land on something, because I just don't want to assume that, we're just gonna go with run. But I mean, we want to probably shoot for run because that's what everything, well, where most of our subjects that should have run have it. With build just being, I think build's the only one that probably does not have it right now.
Yeah,
Um, so if
yeah,
that's the case, we probably should try to shoot for adding or trying to design the proposal in such a way where run, or the convention in such a way that run is the preferred. Does that sound like a plan for you? Like if
mm-hmm.
or do you want to try to see if that go with like whatever makes sense basically, or try to like make run work?
Um, yeah, I mean, if you can use run, and then it means that we only need to update
Change
build.
one thing. Exactly. Okay, I'll try my
Um,
best. But like I said, I think I'm gonna have a little bit of ambiguity in there. But I'll, like I said, like I'm because I'm very good at like semantics. So like I just want to, like when I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be kind of tough. But I think I can do it. But it's gonna take me a little bit to kind of like word it right. But yeah, I'll post it in the GitHub issue, and then once we kind of land on a good set of kind of definitions or ideas, I can then start moving that to the actual document.
Sounds good. Perfect. All right. So I think the other thing that we could do is to look at like PRs.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if any of these PRs that are open
Oh, the one, go
are
to the
been
very far
worked on.
top one. Yeah, the very top one. So this is the standardizing. I know you commented on this.
No, maybe Emil comment. Yeah, okay, no.
Let me see here.
Maybe I commented in a meeting, but okay, never mind.
Oh wait, maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we had a discussion about like pass, yeah, failure or error or different kind of semantics again associated
Gotcha, gotcha.
with those. Yeah, I remember discussing about this.
Okay. And it looks like, yeah, he didn't work on that. Yeah, and then I haven't updated yeah, okay, that makes sense. And we just need to.
So so failure, error, or failure, cancer, or error. Yeah.
See
And I think
what.
associated with this, we might have that like also the these are not non-changes. It's just formatting.
Okay, so I think
Just go.
failure is actually the preferred one. I think test is the, oh yeah, that's what he's changing. So I think we're okay with that, right? Or was there something else that was missing? Because it looks like he made the change, unless I misread the comment that I wrote. That gives, it was so long ago, I don't remember.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure.
I think because there is inconsistent, I think the argument was because there is inconsistency in different subjects, subjects will have their own like consistent nature. Um, but I don't know if we have to necessarily follow that. I think we choose like whatever is successful or failure wise. I think we can just choose a word. It doesn't even need to be a word. It could just be a one or a zero for all that matters, right? So I think we just need to choose one. And I think, being consistent here will just make it, I think, easier for the SDKs, to be honest. And people that are like writing their own or like doing manual checks themselves, it just becomes very obvious like what the thing is.
Hmm. Yeah. Sure. I mean, uh, yeah. Um. I guess if I remember correctly, my comment at the time was that, for instance, for error for test, it's often the
Oh,
case that error and failure have two different meanings.
yeah. I,
Um, so
I
like failure
remember.
is something that is associated with an assertion. So in tests, usually you make an assertion, and if things meet your assertion, you pass, and if they don't meet your assertion, they fail. But you might have an error. It means that something goes wrong in the setup of the test or during the test that doesn't allow you to reach the assertion that you were going to do. And that is usually tracked as an error, which is when you're analyzing test result is relevant because it's a difference.
Oh, does this get rid of error? I don't remember. Does it?
I'm not sure. I just trying to remember what we discussed and the concern that I had at the time. But this it might be that this is incorporated already and so it does not get rid of error. So then it's fine.
Yeah. So error's still there. I think this is just, yeah, making things more consistent. And I
Okay.
remember, okay, so I remember what happened.
Yeah.
So what happened was when we were discussing this, whether or not we should approve this and merge this, is you wanted me to message Ollie, which was the original author of this proposal. He did not get back to me. So what I can do is I can ping him on Slack. And if he doesn't get back to me, I think in our next sit by the next SIG meeting, we can just come to a conclusion. Well, we probably should just merge it rather than keeping it open because I really don't see an issue with it. Given
Hmm.
that it does have error, which I do understand that there's going to be a distinction there, but I think we just need to be consistent on, what is considered successful
Yeah.
versus failure.
Yeah. Right. So this was December.
Mhm.
Okay, not too long ago. Yeah, if you want, we can, just
Ping them.
try again. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but at some point we cannot wait for
Forever.
feedback
Yeah.
forever. If there is no feedback, that means it's it's okay.
Yep.
But yeah, if you want um, to attempt to make another attempt at this, that's fine. Then I think we can also try and see if Brett is interested in fixing the commit for the DCO.
Mhm.
Or alternatively, we can pick this up, uh, either of us, and make it
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Okay, so let me just note about this.
Yeah, and I'll ping which is it Ollie who is it? Surisky, is that correct? Is that him?
um,
Go to the very end. Oh, Espa. I
no,
don't
no,
know
no,
which one.
it's Lensma.
Ollie Lensmar. Oh, okay, okay, I see him. Great. I will ping him directly and ask.
Okay, let's leave it there for now, and then we can see. Cool. Yeah. Other PRs, add outcome to build finish event.
Yeah, I still need to do this. There's actually more here
This is
because
draft. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. And update test suite run queue JSON to replace URL with URI. I think, I mean, didn't David already do something with respect to this?
Yes, so I think David did.
Yeah. So I would say we close this one for now.
Mhm.
And yeah, there you go. There's a comment. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. And we're done with the PRs. I guess review roadmap. We reviewed it. All right. And anything else, Ben, we need to look at today, you think?
No, I think we're good. I mean, oh well, I think we did a lot more than I was actually originally thinking we were gonna do. So, good job to the both of us, to be honest. Um, but yeah, no, I think this is good. Gives me something to do as well in terms of the naming conventions, which has really been bothering me since I last talked about it. So at least I can shoot for kind of fixing or remedying that. And then, but other than that, yeah, I think things are looking good. And yeah, it's always, Andre, it's always good to see you, and I hope hope things are going well for you.
Same here. Good to see you, Ben.
All right.
All the best and see you. Are you going to be? No, tomorrow we don't have an implementation working
No,
group,
no, it's
right?
next week. Yeah.
Yeah, next week. Okay, good.
Yep.
All
All
right,
right.
then see you next week, if not earlier. All right,
All right. Awesome. I'll talk to you then.
bye.
All right. Bye.